Unfortunately, as is the case with distortion fields, ultimately something has to give. And for me, the signature event, that's our apartment over there, that's the pool. The signature event for me, the event that changed everything, was one fine evening in February when I drowned on back here. That's the deep end of the pool. So I'm learning how to swim. It's late at night, it's about 8 o'clock, it's dark, the pool lights are on, there's nobody around. It's a little chilly outside, the pool is temperature controlled, so there's mist rising. I'm on this side, I'm going back and forth because that's all I can do. And somehow, some way, rather than going straight, I can go here. Technically speaking, I didn't drown, right? I'm still here. But when I dragged myself out of the pool, there was the first thought that came to my mind was that Jawwad Farid, you are an actuary, so you're a fellow scientist actuary. You have an MBA from Columbia Business School. Your first degree is computer science. You have a wife, and you have an 18-month-old child. You have no health insurance. You have no money in the bank. You have $35,000 of credit card debt that this business has accumulated. You borrowed another $100,000 to pay for your education. And what would have happened if you hadn't made it out of the pool? As in, what would Fazia, my wife, and Amin, my child, would have done with the half-broken startup that I was carrying on my back? And I think if I were to look back and say that there was a time when I quit, I think that time was right here. So 8 o'clock in the evening, nice chilly evening in Southern California. Jawwad Farid quit. I didn't know that I'd quit, but this one question broke the reality distortion field. And 3 months later, when the world fell apart, when the technology boom unraveled, when valuations came south, and Nasdaq collapsed, when we found that there were 3 customers who had about $40 million in funding as an advantage in about 2 years, and almost all of the customers in their hands, and it was very simple, very easy to just walk away. And as I said, Jawwad Farid, and I'm up. Okay, thank you. All right. So, I've done this presentation a number of times, and one of the questions that always comes up is that when you were going through all of this, what was the most painful moment? And the most painful moment for me was, I think, the week after when we decided to wrap up and walk away. I'm busy consigning all Avicenna-related material to the darkest corner of the darkest closet that I can find in a 2-bedroom apartment. So I'm literally shoveling stuff. So all issues of Inc., entrepreneurs, the industry standards, Columbia Business School, picking them up and putting them aside. And out falls a letter from the business school. And the letter says, it's an update. It's an update from the Entrepreneurship Center. And the update says, there is this kid at Columbia Business School, who's the second year, who's found enough money to buy an Airbus. And he's going to run that Airbus in a dedicated business class configuration between London Gatwick and JFK. And that was just like, jumping in a mountain of salt with all my wounds bleeding dry. I'm busy failing and killing myself, and here are people who are succeeding. So, most favorite one. Now, lessons. So, what came out of this experience? Lesson number 1. If you ever need to find out who you are, ever need to figure out who you want to be, the easiest way and the best way that I would recommend is to fail. Because a system reboot puts you in a form of isolation that brings an enormous amount of energy. And if you were unsure, if you had any doubts about who you are, failing addresses and removes. So till till you've actually failed, you'll never know who you really are. That's one. For therapy, 5 years. 5 years of mornings, evenings, travel time, transit time. I'd sit down on a piece of paper and write about everything that went wrong and things that I would try and fix if I had a second chance. So if you're suffering, nothing like a book to take it out of the system. People ask, what was it that you learned from this entire experience? You point up to the book, and that's the end of the conversation. So that's Reboot. That's the new cover. That's the right. Next lesson. I think we work, or we decide to work for ourselves because somewhere inside ourselves we believe that we're different. And we believe that it's going to be difficult to do what we want to do as part of the family. We don't want to belong. We want to do things the way we think they should be done, whether it's right or wrong, but we want to give it a shot. And finally, and most importantly, we don't want anyone, and I mean anyone, defining or limiting or designing or designating a boundary around our behavior. So starting a business and working for yourself is not about money. It's not about working for yourself. It's not about, I think, at least in my opinion, in my experience, the reason why I carry on working for myself despite being in a program is because I don't have boundaries. Okay, so that was the first episode. So sequel 2 is not as depressing. Sequel 2 started in Karachi. So that's the city I come from. I was born, raised, educated in Karachi, which is city or largest commercial capital of Pakistan. Pakistan's official motto is "We are in the news again." So in between 4.5 and 5 years, we took this business from zero to about $7,000 in revenues, and at 55. I think at our peak, our headcount at 55. We operated out of a facility with about 6,000 square foot of operating space. And I think one of the reasons why we did so well was that 55 people, 6,000 square foot of space, with complete backup generators, backup power, decent size network. Operating cost was under $50,000 a month. So that's about $1,000 a head. And we had actuaries, computer scientists, MBAs, analysts, and programmers. So now, we went from here. That's our first home office. The other secret of being an entrepreneur and being successful is that it's useful to have parents that you can move in with your wife and child, and be supported. So that helped. So this is the home office that we built on top of my father's home. We went from here to here. That's the 6,000 square foot facility I spoke about. We went from here to here in about 5 years. We went from here to 4 people working in a dark corner in an office space to here, also at the same time. We did this by following a very simple business model, and that model was we focused on one very complex thing, which is risk management. So we wrote a piece of software that we sold to a large number of banking customers in Pakistan, and this software did risk-related regulatory reporting for the central bank. Right? And we did this before any of the big guys realized there was a market. We did it better, we did it faster than them. That was the rationale about it. In 5 years, we went from I think 1 product up to 7. And again, small team, low cost space, regional market, regional customers, the numbers make a lot of sense.